Bengals free agency day one recap coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals fan.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I'm Ace, he's Zim. We are live right now on YouTube. Twitter is not doing anything right now, so sorry for those not seeing us on Twitter right now. We are working out the kinks. However, this is our home, YouTube, so make sure that you guys are rocking with us. We're here to talk about Bengals day one. Lots of signings that happened for the Bengals today. We're going to get into all of them. But before we do that, partner, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Like trying to navigate through all of this free agency frenzy, whatever madness going on. But I feel like the Bengals starting to turn up a little bit. I'm liking some stuff, but I had a pretty productive day, so we good to go.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty productive day for not only Zim but the Bengals as well. Bengals came out swinging. They kind of announced the deal that they already made officially over the weekend. That was Mike Gesicki. He was announced first. He gets a new deal. I don't think we actually got to talk about the Mike Gesicki deal because it wasn't there the last time that we spoke. So Bengals end up getting a good deal with Mike Gesicki done. The thing that's interesting about this is Mike Gesicki is 29 years old. So the fact that the Bengals ended up giving him, I think, a 3-year deal is somewhat significant. And that kind of followed a little bit of a theme with the Bengals when it came to playing some of those older players, which they typically don't do. When guys turn 30, they usually don't invest that much. That's one of the snags and one of the reasons that the Trey Hendrickson deal has kind of hit a snag. But what were your thoughts, first off, just with them announcing the Gesicki deal over the weekend?
At first, I didn't think too much of it. In my mind, I think I said I'm a bit of an optimist, I guess, in the way that I'm thinking, because I'm thinking like once Burrow told me Gesicki and them boys is getting done, I'm like, all right, cool. I thought it was significant with the age thing, but I will say the thing that I thought stuck out to me is out of all the tight ends that was signed today, that was the biggest deal. Like, does everybody realizes like the 3 years, 25 mil. Currently, as it stands, we're recording this, March 10th at about like 8:40. That was the biggest deal so far, and it's not a little number. And the cash advances up front, and what he gets year one in the sum of like 12 mil, like that's not little baby money. It's not the craziest thing you've ever seen, but I do think as we get into some of these players, it's starting to give me the vibes of I understand what they're doing from a roster standpoint. And a lot of people like talked about the Eagles and all these other different teams paying the guys at the top and then filling in the rest of the roster with a lot of guys that are like mid-tier that you're asking to do a lot of different things, or you're stacking the roster up with a whole lot of mid-tier players. Mike Gesicki is like a fringe mid-tier player getting paid middle-of-the-line money for the tight ends in general. But I thought it was a really good signing for someone that Joe Burrow made very clear that that's who he wants.
Yeah, I thought that it was. The deal itself, I believe, looking into the particulars, it looks like it was a 3-year, $25.5 million deal. It comes out to an average salary of $8.5 million per year. Total guaranteed $6,500. So Bengals were able to fully guarantee him that $6,500. He's a free agent in 2028. So the Bengals were able to, if you're looking at it from a guaranteed contract standpoint, they got a pretty good deal from that standpoint. Average salary, still they did well. He's in the line of Hunter Henry, Dawson Knox, Tyler Higbee. So he did get a solid deal, I think, from the Bengals. And if people are thinking this is an overpay or something like that, I think that's completely off base. Travis Kelce's making $17 million, TJ Hockenson $16.5 million, George Kittle $15 million. Mark Andrews, a guy that's been possibly looked at as a cap casualty, $14 million per year. So Bengals, I think they got a good deal in this one with Mike Gesicki. I think that they were able to solidify that tight end room, like you kind of said, and that kind of kicked it off. And then speaking of kicking things off, today the thing that really kicked it off was the Bengals going out and signing BJ Hill. He resigned back to the Bengals, 3-year deal worth $33 million. Obviously, with this being March 10th and the details aren't really going to be there just because there's so many contracts right now, but that will give him an average kind of salary of $11 million per year. I'm not sure. Did you know if, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you know if they put the guarantees out there for BJ Hill?
I'm not sure. I probably could find it. Excuse me. I know it is.
I'll actually look for it. Give your thoughts on the Bengals and them re-signing BJ Hill.
All right. So this is at the beginning of the day. Not one to me. Based off of Tobin's comments at the combine, based off of everything that has transpired prior coming into this, and before I saw the defensive lineman market pan out or play out the way that it did, I wasn't a big fan of this move. And it wasn't because I don't think that BJ Hill is solid. I just thought that if you're going to spend $11 million per, if it comes out that like somebody like a Jonathan Allen or somebody that I value a lot higher is like, let's say he's in the 14 range or something like that, to me, the difference about not coming back with the same exact roster, that will be the one guy that, all right, that I'm not looking for solid. I'm looking for, if Jonathan Allen is out there, you're getting far more a better pass rush. And I'm just putting that as an example. Calais Campbell, as old as he is, at least I feel like the impact of what he would do. Now, this is prior. We're going to go in chronological order. But I think, like just for me, I would have liked someone that had a higher ceiling, even if it was like seen as like a little bit of a risk. I don't hate the move. It's just for me, I wanted a complete overhaul, and I wasn't interested in guys that had been losing multiple games back to back to Lamar Jackson. I'm not looking for anybody that's been in that room when the Bengals just got their ass kicked for the last 2 years in the defensive side of the ball. Like I wanted to move on from that. BJ Hill has his moments, but you got to ask yourself, if I'm on the outside looking in, am I game planning for BJ Hill? And the answer is no. Like you respect him, but I don't think anybody's game planning for him. Whereas somebody like a Jonathan Allen or Calais Campbell, like I feel like they're going to be somewhere near that money, and you're game planning for them. And you might say Calais Campbell is old as hell. That's cool because I plan to go to the draft and go get my new D tackles anyway. So for me, I rate that one. That was like a C- for me, just because I already know what BJ Hill's max is. And now at 29 years old, I don't know. That just was that out of everything. That might shock everybody. That might have been my least favorite signing of the whole day. I know that's going to be a crazy take, but that's just. It's not because I hate him as a player. It's just $11 million. I just saw that with Sam Hubbard. Like solid. I don't need solid. I need impact.
Yeah, I think with BJ Hill, the thing that was shocking to me was we kind of talked probably. I thought BJ Hill was going to be gone. Like, to be honest, just because Bengals with a guy turning 30, they generally, paying that money, making that investment. I kind of thought that they would look in another direction. I kind of thought that they would be kind of going with Chris Jenkins from that standpoint, maybe grabbing a guy in a draft, which is still possible, by the way, because the Bengals, I got another D tackle later on, which we'll get into in the show. But, my worry about us not having that tackle was I kind of talked about like BJ Hill kind of is that defensive tackle for those guys. They don't really have anybody else that offers any sort of pass rush. I don't know if Chris Jenkins is ready for the moment. And to me, this deal may signal that the Bengals may feel similarly. I think we'll see during the draft how they truly feel. But I think maybe they feel like BJ Hill is a guy that they're more familiar with. They feel like, they're not taking any kind of risk. And that could be frowned upon because, with this being a kind of situation where you've had guys like Geno Atkins is worked out there, DJ Reader's worked out there. It kind of worked out with BJ Hill for what you got for him. But you just kind of assume that they may go in a different direction, being that Duke Tobin said, and I quote, I'm not paying the same, or I'm not paying more money for the same roster. And I just am not seeing that when it comes to them bringing some of these guys back. I'm not mad at BJ Hill. I was just kind of surprised, and I didn't know, that it would be him getting $16 million guaranteed, which I did find that number on a 3-year, $33 million deal. Obviously, we'll have to see the particulars of what this is and how it's shaped. But I was kind of shocked that BJ Hill was back. I did remember, though, seeing him say that he was like, thank God, the other day. And it must have been because he knew that this was coming down the pipeline in terms of his return to Cincinnati, because he was technically the first person to resign with the Bengals in the free agency period. So Bengals get back BJ Hill. I just feel like it's good, but I just feel like right now the defensive tackle room is pretty much what it was last season. I'm aiming to see, okay, what do they do in the draft? Is this something that they still addressed in free agency? So moving on, and by the way, this podcast is powered by BETUS. Please make sure that you check them out. Make sure you head over there and check out the casino that they have going on. They got all kind of odds that you can bet on, including the NFL draft. So make sure you check them out. After that, Samaje Perine returns to Cincinnati. So more of familiar faces from Cincinnati are starting to come back. But with Perine, I think it's a 2-year deal. I don't think it's much, honestly, from that standpoint. But what were your thoughts on the Perine kind of deal?
This one I liked a lot. And you might be like, well, that isn't that contradicting what you're saying on the last one, Zim? The difference is, to me, I know I have a running back one in Chase Brown, right? And I know that one thing I don't want to do is put him in positions where he's got the tough sledding, hard yards to go get in the tough situations and pass blocking reps. A lot of people think that that's like something cool to do. That's a tough job. I want my RB1 fresh. I want him flashy, and I want him like running like a Ferrari. Perine, let him at the vet minimum take all the brunt work and do those things. At no point, and then also the money is so low, and again, like they can literally like just walk away from this. Is damn near like the vet minimum in the National Football League. You have him do that. He's one of the best pass protectors in the whole National Football League, and then you go to the draft and you get younger. Now, secretly, I do want to get like I don't know why I keep saying I want Nick Chubb. Like I think Nick Chubb and Chase Brown together will be crazy. Like I just think that Nick Chubb is on his way back. If he's trying to go to a team that's expecting something from him, I think that's a mistake. He should go to a team that isn't expecting that much from him, and whatever they get from it, they're like very appreciative of it. Do like a 1-year deal for like 4.5, 1 year, $5 million or something like that. I think that's what I really, really want. But remember, Nick Chubb, this is the argument I always made about him and Joe Mixon. Nick Chubb can't play on third downs. He can't pass pro. And so when everybody's bringing up the conversation about Mixon can't play on third down, yeah, Nick Chubb never plays on third down. That was if you go ask a Browns fan that. So there's a little bit of dilemma. I think you can still do it and have Perine as the pass protector, but I guess you would go to the draft and you can skip running back because remember, we only got 6 picks. So you really don't even want to waste a pick on running back. So I still secretly hope they do that. But the Perine thing, I think takes a lot off of the plate of Chase Brown. And I love this is what I believe in free agency is getting tremendous value, whether it's C-level quality guy, A-level quality guy, tremendous value, not overpaying for anything. And I think that you'll see that that's the common theme for people categorizing the Bengals as cheap. Remember, tight end market, they paid the highest amount of tight end money today, right? But it's not that they went and overspent. It's good value. Perine is not a big headline thing, but that's tremendous value, and you got to appreciate that. And those are some of the things that I was saying on Twitter that I don't think people or our fan base are pointing out, that they get tremendous value with Mike Hilton's, DJ Readers, Eli Apples, Chido Beawuzie, who ended up being a Pro Bowl level cornerback. Tremendous value. When everybody was crashing up, they don't bring that up. So today I thought was another good, tremendous value portion of the spectrum with getting Perine.
Yeah, Perine 2-year contract worth up to $3.8 million. It was kind of weird because there was like a fake report of him signing a 3-year deal for like $22 million with the Buccaneers. I don't know where that came from. Twitter was kind of weird today. That would really explain how Twitter was, especially when things kicked off today. But Samaje Perine returning to Cincinnati, I think it's a solid move. I think that this possibly spells the end for Zach Moss. Obviously, they got to figure out the injury settlement, but I don't think that there's a world where Zach Moss stays on this roster with somebody like Samaje Perine. I think the Bengals also could go into the draft and draft a running back as well. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Also, the Bengals finally signed kind of an outside free agent, signing defensive tackle TJ Slaton from the Packers in free agency. So this was a nose tackle that they were able to get from the Packers. He has a pass with Monty, the new defensive line coach for the Bengals. So a lot of people on Twitter that are Packers fans were kind of talking about how good this guy is. He may be under the radar because he is a nose tackle, and I know a lot of people are probably going to look at his stats and point out sacks, but the fact is he is a nose tackle, so his responsibility is taking double teams, shedding blocks, and things like that. So he's not going to really flash in that area, but he ends up getting a 2-year deal worth $15 million. So the Bengals investing definitely at the defensive tackle position today. Didn't know that they had a nose tackle on the radar, I'm going to be honest with you. And it seems like that's going to be a guy that needs to compete with McKinley Jackson for reps, being that they just drafted McKinley Jackson. I personally was a McKinley Jackson fan. However, this does spell the seam that they know that this guy is more of a veteran. He's ready to start in immediately. It'll be interesting to see what he's able to do because he's extremely does well against the run. You're going to need that in a division where you have Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and teams that like to run the ball. We don't know if the Cleveland Browns are going to – well, they probably do have to run the ball now that they got Kenny Pickett as their quarterback. So we'll see how things happen throughout
That's
here.
nasty.
What were your thoughts on TJ Slaton? Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
They're about to draft Shador. Can I say one little quick note about the Perine thing? The Javonte Williams signing, the 1 year for $3.5 million to Cowboys, that would have been an A+ signing for the Bengals. That's a guy that is like, I think like 1,000-yard rusher just 2 seasons ago. He had the injury, but from a pass pro standpoint, I had looked into this. He was the 9th best pass pro running back in the National Football League this past season. That would have been a tremendous upgrade over Perine. So that's the one caveat I didn't like about Perine. But going back to Slaton, he was the #1 rated run block win rate guy for ESPN. He's been very, very consistent with PFF. His PFF overall score wasn't that high this past season, but overall, I think he was coming off his worst season. But overall, the value of the signing was really good. I think it now gives them versatility up front. Sometimes they can go with a 0 nose tackle lined up over the center and double team and do what he's got to do. And then sometimes you have the ability of McKinley Jackson playing a little bit of the 3 tech. You can move him around in the front. So you now don't have matchups that are in other teams' favor where they were forced to last season. Also, remember how last season started off with all those injuries up front. The Bengals are making a conscious effort to say, even if we get ourselves in a spot like that, we're now putting depth behind it. Did you all know that J2 Fele played 25% of the Bengals snaps last year? J2 Fele, love him to death. I think he's a great guy. I don't think he should be playing 25% of the Bengals snaps or an NFL team. I think he's a good guy that you can have on the practice squad. You can have, transitioning in if somebody gets hurt. This guy was starting for a lot. And our fans don't really talk about in our season. Yeah, we won 9 games. There were a lot of injuries throughout this whole season. Starting corners, front, and I love that about our fan base is that we don't really harp on the injuries too much. But I think what happens is if you get a nice contingency plan behind the people that are there, then you don't have to talk about injuries like that. And so that's where I think that they're headed towards now. It wouldn't stop me from drafting D tackle first in the first round. In fact, I think the board might show up with all these quarterbacks that they're propping up. I think the board is going to show them some tremendous talent up front in the first round of this draft.
No, for sure. Bengals, right before we started recording this, made 2 other moves. They add an Eagles linebacker, Oren Burks, in NFL free agency. He's more so somewhat of a special teamer. He ended up signing a deal that was 2 years worth up to $5 million. Hard to say what the guarantees are on that, but pretty much a special teamer. I'm expecting that that's going to probably be the role, unless obviously the Bengals could move from Jermaine Pratt. ADG ended up signing a deal with the Cardinals. So Oren Burks, I think, is a guy that could be in the mix to start, but you still know that at his worst, he's just a really good special teams player. And let's get into the meat and potatoes of what happened right before we went live. Joseph Ossai.
Can I talk about Burks real quick, though?
Yeah, I was going to have you talk about both of them.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
Joseph Ossai returns to the Bengals in a 1-year deal, $7 million. He was set to be a free agent. First client from Mulugheta that the Bengals have extended. That is key because a lot of people talked about how they've never been able to get any, players first, athletes first guys done. They were able to get this one done with Joseph Ossai. But Zim, what were your thoughts on Burks and what were your thoughts on the Ossai move?
The Burks signing might be a special signing out of all of the guys today. It is the one guy, if you go look at the comment section or ask Eagles fans, remember, Nakobe Dean got hurt. Burks then comes in for him in those spots. He balled out in the playoffs. Go look at the tape. There's a lot of video of it right now on Twitter right now. Absolutely going ham. Burks is a special talent. I have an Eagles fan that loves him to death that told me that, bro, he's one of the guys that we should have been playing a lot more. He liked him over Nakobe Dean, and he was like, bro, I thought that we would get him back. So Burks, don't sleep and just think that he's just a special teamer. I think he's an ADG replacement. I don't think he's a Pratt replacement. I honestly think guys like Jahad Campbell in the draft, the Bengals might be looking to upgrade and get a big-time linebacker early in this draft. I really do think that linebacker is on the table a lot sooner than we've ever seen, unless the Bengals come back tomorrow and sign, somebody else. There are some guys still out there. So you got to really go look at that Burks one. Somebody pointed out, too, his PFF grade is really good. I don't want to go too far without saying this. Shout out to our guy, Neff. Justin Neff says, who they Mike awake drinking his warm glass of milk, making deals. So he's pretty much just saying, Mike's just chilling in it. But Mikey Brown's starting to wake up a little bit and make some moves. Back to Joseph Ossai.
Go ahead. The
Joseph Ossai 1 year, $7 million. I hope that they do this deal like they did that Riley Reef deal where they use a void year so the cap hit is super low. The only thing that's a little nasty. It's not, to me, technically a David Mulugheta special because it's not multiple years. So the concept of the guarantees in the later years, it doesn't even really exist. I think this is probably a fully guaranteed contract. So it's a Mulugheta deal, but I would love to see them do like a 2-year deal or something with Mulugheta just to break the ice, though. But I thought Ossai, 5 sacks in the last 7 games was coming on strong. There are other guys, like I said earlier in the show, there are other guys that I just thought that they could have brought from the outside in complete overhaul. I wanted that. Ossai wouldn't have been a guy. Ossai and BJ Hill are 2 guys that I wouldn't have brought back, but maybe the staff knows something that I don't know. Like I said, he came on late. He has all the intangibles. One thing I can say is if he does go crazy this season, I don't think you get him back right with Mulugheta. So I don't know. You know what I mean? That's not one of my favorite signings to see either. I get that one to see.
Yeah, I thought that, to be honest, I thought that they'd try to go after Chase Young or bring somebody like Azeez Ojulari in, kind of going in a different direction. I think they probably looked into those, and those guys probably wanted more money. I would have thought that the relationship that Joe Burrow has with Chase Young, that would be a possibility. Maybe it still is, because this is an edge rusher room that could look potentially different. And there have been reports out there that Trey Hendrickson is losing a little leverage, especially because his market is shrinking now, especially with deals being done. I think when you look at what's being paid out there, you could almost justify the Bengals kind of looking into that market a little bit more, because I've seen some guys go for as low as $11 million per year. But the Bengals decided to work with Ossai, get this deal done. I hope that they can add to the room. So if you're telling me that you can get a Joseph Ossai and get a Chase Young or an Azeez, cool. We'll see it. If the thing is now that we're keeping also Trey Hendrickson because of his lack of a market and they're giving him some kind of pay boost, we'll see. But as it stands right now, this locker room looks very similar to the one before. It is just pretty much this locker room with some Jordan 12s on right now from last year. So we'll see how things shake out. I think right now I'm kind of giving free agency I'm going to probably say C- to D+ right now with what they're looking at right now. I'm not mad. I know guys watch our show and stuff. This is nothing personal against them. But right now, your big three still are unsigned. Contracts are still going on. Extensions are still happening. Agents people are going to be signing and stuff like that. Now, obviously, this is day one, so the numbers will start to go down after the more days they go past. But, you just would have liked to seen a T. Higgins deal get done or something like that. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But I like what they did, day one of free agency from a filling the roster standpoint. In terms of an impact player standpoint, I didn't like it. I don't think we have many impact players from that standpoint. I would have liked to have seen something like a Mekhi Becton. I would have liked to have seen something like a Chase Young. I would have liked to have seen something at the guard position. And right now, we got articles being made that Cody Ford is looking at being the starter. So as it stands right now, that's disgusting. But what were your thoughts? Like, if you had to give an overall grade for this, what are you giving? As it stands now, this is March 10th, guys.
This is why I love our show, because a lot of what I say on Twitter gets so taken out of context. Because I was telling everybody, what are y'all crashing out for? Everybody was like, well, you're carrying water for the Bengals. You think that you can do no wrong. No, you idiots. I look at every single thing, every single entity as its own thing. Like, I don't look at one bad move and say, oh, I hate everybody. I don't look at one bad move and say, Joe Burrow's going to go to the Saints. No, like, that's like toddler shit. Like, I'm an adult. I take every single, bit of information and then I work off of that. With that being said, I do think that the Bengals will kick your favorite team's ass. But I will say this. This free agency so far is a D+, C- for me. And I will put the caveat on this, though. I will put the caveat. It comes with a caveat. The one thing that I will say is that the depth, like you just hit on, I feel like we're saying the same thing. The depth that they got right now, because we didn't even talk about Cody Ford. I like that. It's like a 7th guy. And remember, he makes less than Volson. So it doesn't really mean much. Like it, whatever. So, but I will say this. If they came back, James Daniels just signed just now, I think, with the Dolphins. So James Daniels off the board. If they came back and signed 2 guards like Zeitler and Will Fries, and then came back and got T done and do Jamar, I'll be at an A-. You know what I'm saying? It could happen that fast. But as it stands right now, I'm at a D+. D+. C-. I'm gonna go C-. Because I really think the T deal is coming up, and I think the way that they handle the Trey Hendrickson thing, if they told dude that all you got to do is go, oh yeah, give me a back or first round pick, to me that's what I would have said. I would have said, bro, like yeah, like you're under contract, bring me back a first. And the stupid agent that should be fired said, yeah, we can get a first. Now you can't get a first, and now all your suitors, now the market's drying up. I don't know, bro. Like that don't seem like that's a Bengals fault. I feel like the Bengals played it how you're supposed to play it, and it's only two ways that I feel like the Trey Hendrickson thing can go. Either the Commanders run me pick number 29, and maybe something else has been rumored first and a third. Maybe they run me pick number 29, and we cool. Or they say, no, we can't because we just traded for Larry Tunsil, right? And we gave up draft capital. Remember, they gave up a third round this year, and they gave up multiple picks the following year. They might say, no, we want to keep our first, our second, and our fourth. So if they're not giving me that second and that fourth or that first, then they're out the way, and I don't really see no other teams. So then Trey could come back, and we say, yeah, you should get like $30-something million. You're correct. We wanted to do it for multiple years, but now things have changed. We can give you a pay bump. You got to pay on that for $30-something million this upcoming season. And if you don't like that, you can retire. Who the hell is turning down $30-something million? Right? So that's how I would play it. And he could tell his age, and then he could be mad all he want. But this is one thing I want, and I hope we clip this. Shout out to Martin, our producer. I need everybody on Twitter, because I ain't been on Spaces or none of that stuff like that. I need everybody to hear this. I am not one of them dudes that's going to cry on Twitter. I'm not one of them dudes that's going to cry and curl up in the corner. I'm not going to tell you that your quarterback is going to go to the Saints. I'm not going to be a pussy and not go down the alley with my Who Dey boys and we going to wreck, right? I'm him for real. Like, I don't care, right? That trendy thing of shitting on your own team, I'm not with that. I'm sorry. I can't do it. That's just not how I'm wired up. Everybody on the internet, including the people that have tons of followers, are telling you that the Bengals should get out in front of a deal. They should go sign it, and they're 100% right. Isn't that what they did with Trey Hendrickson? But then now, those same people are telling you that as a mistake. Trey Hendrickson, oh, well, yeah, just pay the man, pay him whatever he wants. But the Bengals got out in front of it. And that's what happens when you get out in front of it. The market then changes. That's not the Bengals' fault. So you can't have it both ways. And I think that a lot of people are crying. We're not toddlers. We're adults here. We could talk about these different things going on. And I'm not mad at the Trey Hendrickson situation. I think that they can work it out. I think it also opens the door to come back and say, all right, what did you see out there?
No, the Saints are re-signing Chase Young.
Chase Young. Okay.
No, my bad, bro.
Well, we got we got Ossai.
We got Ossai at home. Yep.
We got Chase Young at home, bro.
Yep. We got Joseph Ossai.
I don't know. That's where I'm at. Ian Rappaport earlier today puts out the report saying that he feels as though the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins deal will get done. I think a lot of people are, and I was telling you this morning, don't you feel like T. Higgins, once we get the deal done, I feel like our fan base has been crapped on the national media, and we spent so much time talking about how bad the front office is. I don't even know if the T. Higgins signing really has the impact that it probably would have had maybe even just 2 weeks ago. Right. Like, how do you feel about it? Or do you think that the T. Higgins deal will be a big deal?
It's hard to say with the things that have happened. I think that the Bengals will find a way to get it done. I think it's closer to $30 million now, whereas don't want to live in the past. And hindsight is 2020. You're just like, man, they could have had this guy for 22, 23, but that's the thing of the past now. If they can get him at 30, I think that's what they have to do. And then they're going to have to get Chase now with the market changing over there at probably 41, 42. So I think as long as they get those deals done, people will be happy. I don't think we care right now at this point what the numbers really are. We just want those guys a part of the team. Can they make it now work with Trey Hendrickson? If they figure out a way to do that, extend all three somehow for multiple years, I think you're calling that a W. But now that this is planned out, we'll have to see how those things happen. Oh, my goodness.
Also, Akeem Davis-Gather signed with the Cardinals. If y'all didn't see that, want to make sure that. Were there any other notable?
Chase Young had a significant open market, but wanted to stay in New Orleans, where he played some of his best football last season. His deal is a 3-year, $51 million deal with a chance to get to 57. So that makes sense why he was off the table. Bengals were probably never playing anything close to that. And you got Joseph Ossai at home.
Yeah, $10 million more. Nah.
Yeah, like both of them had around the same number of sacks. I think Chase Young had a half sack more.
Has Jonathan Allen, has he got signed yet? I know he had a meeting with, I think, the Vikings.
No, I think he's going to visit the Vikings. So, he'll probably visit there, see how things go, and make his decision from there.
I feel like in the North, oh, God, I don't want him going nowhere in the North. But that's the type of, like in that Christian Wilkins mode, like a guy that can stop the run, push the pocket. Larry, let me ask you this. Larry Ogunjobi is available. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, I think Ogunjobi would be a good guy to bring back. At this age, I don't know how old he is at this point, but
part of that rotation, I just don't know. Like, am I taking away 200 snaps from Chris Jenkins to give it to Larry O at like 30-something years old?
Yeah, he's 30. He's definitely 30. Turns 31 in June. Would I still do it? Is he still Larry O from if this was
have you seen? I watched a couple of his games and he flashed a couple times in some of them Steelers games.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to taking Larry O back at all. Like, I'd be cool with it. I don't know what that would mean for the draft. I think you should still draft somebody.
Right.
If that's the case. Especially given his injury history. He had 2 sacks last year. I think he had a good season the season before that. Kind of seemed like he was a cap casualty for them. I know the first year he was over there, they were playing him out of position.
Right.
I might think about it, but, I wouldn't say that I'm waiting for that notification to come through, I guess is what I would say on that. What about you?
Yeah. Had we not signed Slaton, I know there's a different position. I just think when I think about Ogunjobi, though, I'm thinking like, whose snaps is he taking? Remember when we talked, it was 2-3 weeks ago. You was like, why would we do Walter Nolan when we just got Jenkins and stuff like that? And I think because Nolan's so different and he could push the passer, I just think it's totally different. You give him like 400 snaps, third down, and tell Walter Nolan to go eat. Walter Nolan can stop the run too. He's not like a liability to run. You know what I mean? So you're giving him those snaps because he's something the Bengals don't have.
Right.
Ogunjobi, we have something like that with Chris Jenkins. To me, I like the idea of bolstering a room. I just don't like the idea of everybody's 100% healthy. Somebody not playing with that. Somebody's not playing. You got
with there being a stacked defensive tackle class, though, do you think that this is a draft where you can wait until later, or does it have to be, you think, round 1?
The reason why I want round 1 isn't because I'm like, you gotta go defense, I just think that the Bengals philosophically have made a choice and said, we're going offense. Remember on the last show, you was like, I'd rather go offense. It's a passing league. Remember, we had a top 1 EPA per play offense in the National Football League. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Everybody is trying to strategically take away T. Higgins from our offense, take away Mike Gesicki from our offense so that they can capitalize on us not being a potent offense. But when you do that, you're philosophically saying, not that defense doesn't matter, but I'm going to use way more resources in the free agency and in the draft because I spent all my money that I need on offense. Remember, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins would take up about 38% of the Bengals cap. If you put Trey Hendrickson in that, you're at like 45, 44% with an extension around that. You're almost at 50% of your team and 4 people. Now, that's not that crazy. Goodberry actually made a longer list. I read the tweet probably about 2 months ago, just showing how normal that really is. But most teams do it where you got 2 guys on offense, 2 guys on defense. If you look at the Ravens, they got Marlon Humphrey, Matt Abuke, then they got, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson on the other side. So the formula of the 4 or 5 players, like traditionally, is going to be a percentage of a cap, and it's around that same thing. So it's not that crazy. But if the Bengals are going to say, we're going to spend it on Burrow, Jamar T, and Orlando, and coming up is going to be Mims, you know what I mean? So you then have to go hard on Chargers to sign Najee Harris. You then have to go hard on defense. And to me, the Bengals are lacking a big-time dog on defense, Geno Atkins. I tweeted this a month ago. I said, it's time. Like, I get Miles Murphy was a first-round pick. I don't think he's Geno Atkins at all. I think he's going to be pretty good. I don't know how good. Maybe he gets to Michael Johnson level. Who knows? But it's time for the Bengals to have their star on defense. That's why I really, in the first round, I think guys like Jahad, my board literally is like Jahad Campbell, Will Johnson at corner, and Walter Nolan. And, or you could, if they feel like the character stuff with James Pierce is cool, Mike Green's another guy I like too. But these are all like blue chip players on defense that it's time, bro. It's time. It's like you can't skip it no more. Like that's what. Remember we was having a Genty conversation the other day. It's like, yeah, that would go crazy. That would go crazy, bro. Like, yeah. But the defense needs a star, bro. Like, you can't just keep on, you know what I mean? Like, I want to put 40 on people's head, but we put 40 on the Ravens twice. I want to put 40.
The evolution of Zim Hude, man. That's
I'm still pulling triggers, brother. But like, I want to put 40 on it, but I learned when we won in the playoffs in our playoff run 21-22, defense was the key to that, right? And then think about last year. That's what I want to tell all Bengals fans too. This is what makes us the best podcast. I feel like we talk about life a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that came out of 2023 is we learned that if Joe Burrow gets hurt, you have to figure out different ways to like simplify like your offense, and we did different things, and we learned a lot about Zach Taylor. Remember, he proved a lot to us. Right. That was good out of that. Like every time something bad happens, don't say like the world is crashing down on you. Take the lessons that life is giving you from that. Then in 2024, we did put 40 on the Ravens twice, but we lost.
Right.
And so now that's a wake-up call to somebody like me that's been preaching to everybody your offense is your defense. That doesn't really, that's just showing me in real time, like Zim, that doesn't work. So, like it's, that's where I'm at with it. Like the Bengals need stars on defense. You can't go buy stars in free agency. They cost too much. Like Milton Williams is not a star to me. Like he's a really good player. I'm not paying him $80 million guarantee for a guy that's never been a star. Like that's just not, that's not smart money to me.
No, for sure. Also unrelated, but this was a dope stat that I saw earlier. Bengals also said last year they had Brock Bowers at home with Mike Gesicki. He was the only tight end to align detached in the wide receiver slot position on over 80% of his snaps. Gesicki recorded the second most receiving yards, 674 among tight ends from the detached alignments last season. First was Brock Bowers, 819. Then Mike Gesicki, 674. And Jonnu Smith was 642. Travis Kelce was 616. And Trey McBride with 582. And the scariest part about Gesicki is there were games last year where we felt like they didn't use him enough. So for him to be like have the second most receiving yards at that point, I think the sky is the limit. I think he's also a really good compliment to T and Jamar. He's kind of that wide receiver 3. We kind of talk about the Migos. He kind of was low-key the third Migo on that list last season. I think things are only going to get better with him being a part of the team. But it's clear that the Bengals got to get something done with that big 3, whether it's 2 of the 3, whatever it is. We just need 1 of the 3 to get done here. When do you expect, not that you know any inside information, guys, this is strictly just a guess. This is just us as analysts saying when we think this is going to get done. When do you think, and who do you think gets done first? Do you think it's going to be T. Higgins, or do you think we're going to have some kind of resolution with Trey Hendrickson?
I think T. Higgins first. It's a tough thing with Trey that's going on, bro. I think it sucks. I think he's got a bad agent, honestly. I really do. And I think he's going. I honestly think he needs to TJ Watt himself into the front office the same way he walked into that office last week.
With the Bengals jersey on, with the Hendrickson jersey on. He's been walking around with that jersey for a couple of days.
Bro looked like a youth pastor that's just wearing his favorite player's jersey. Like, he don't even look like a football player to me. It just looked like, yeah, bro, he goes to my church and he likes Trey Hendrickson as his favorite player. Like, that's
Have Trey Hendrickson. A player wear their own jersey, like, without the pad?
That's kind of, bro, that's what makes him so dope to me. Like, I think people say, well, why are you so, like, just pay him whatever he wants. From a business standpoint, I can't operate like that. But from like just my love for like the sport and like how it's played, Trey Hendrickson is one of the best Bengals of all time. Not just one of the best signings. He's one of the best Bengals. The way he approaches the game, no tape on his hands, like no gloves, like just grabbing people and throwing them up. Like, y'all know how crazy this dude is? Bro be like leaning on people, grabbing them on, like the quarterbacks grabbing them, talking to them, giving them scriptures. Like, bro, he's a dog. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Trey Hendrickson is everything. He represents so many people too. And that's what's so dope about Trey Hendrickson. It's just business is business too. And so you got to separate the two, but
and it's crazy because I'm down here in the O in Orlando. He comes from an area called Apopka. So I know that he's like really about the community and stuff down here, man. So, and I know that he loves Cincinnati. Yeah, bro hasn't taken that 91 jersey off. I feel like he goes to sleep in that joint. Like,
what if bro put the joint on just like, man, I don't think they're gonna know who I am or something. Like, he was like his wife was just like, yeah, like we're gonna go to the hospital and do this thing. He was like, maybe I should wear my jersey. I don't know if they're gonna know who I am.
Do you think it was the agent's idea for him to wear the jersey?
That's a smart move. Maybe I'm crabbing on the
smart move. It's a smart move. I think it's like, bro, I want to be here. Like, I wouldn't be out here with the jersey on if I didn't want to be a Bengal. So.
Bro, you know how many Bengals accounts I seen immediately was like, just pay the man. So like, it's smart. It's from a business standpoint, like, boy, that's a good move.
Yeah, I thought it was. And like, the thing is, like, if Trey was really on some, I feel like Trey is like, I'm not trying to make the Bengals look bad. I'm not trying to show that I don't support the city. So I got the jersey on. I'm going to a local station. I'm not jumping on ESPN. I'm not jumping on a big network just to be. I feel like we could get Trey. Trey, if you're watching this, holla at us. If you want to jump on the show, I feel like that's the energy that he's on right now, is supporting the fan base. And this is a guy that doesn't do interviews, right? Like, he's stepping out of his comfort zone to send the message like, no, I want to be here. I really want this to work. Let's see if this can work. And I think right now it's starting to play into the Bengals' hands, because you're starting to see a lot of people have to spend money, so they don't have money to allocate for Trey Hendrickson. We talked about the Commanders' move earlier. What does that do to their cap situation? We saw the Colts start to revamp that defense over there. They signed some guys in the secondary. So money is starting to go, and options are starting to go down. So, man, I think if Trey Hendrickson can be a Bengal, man, I think we would love to have him here. I think he wants to stay here. And I think that's what the signals have been. I I've never seen somebody go into free agency wearing their jersey, bro, at a team that they want to stay at. So kudos to him for doing that.
Can I give another little quick? I got 2 quick little exclusives. So, not without going into detail, T. Higgins was in Cincy. So I don't know what that entailed. Not trying to, whatever. I ain't trying to have whatever, but take that info and do it with what you want. The other thing that happened today is Mike Gesicki, when he got signed, do y'all know that T. Higgins was one of the first people that texted him? And when T. Higgins told him congrats, Mike Gesicki then said, I saved everything because I can't wait to tell him that he's rich and I'm going to text him right back. So, like, I feel like the players know and the players want it to happen. And I think they're close enough for even Mike Gesicki to even say that. Look for, you talk about Trey Hendrickson on the show. Look for Mike G. That's the one that might be in the oven. So look for Mike G. That's another one I think we need to work on. So
no, for sure, man. We're gonna see. Like, yeah, Mike G, if you watching this, you already know what time it is, man. So would love to have either of those guys on. Love having them in stripes. Love seeing what the Bengals can do. What are some things that you're looking forward to on day 2? If you could write a perfect day 2, or to me, a perfect thing would be T. Higgins signs right now. The announcement gets done. They did something like that with Orlando Brown Jr. was at nighttime. So maybe, you can't sleep on the Bengals now. You might wake up and then, the 5 deal is done. But what would a perfect day 2 for you look like?
I think it's the guards. I've been saying this all day. I'm gonna tweet it out again, but I want everybody. Shout out to my dog in the back. Shout out to my boy Wimby going crazy. But I keep on saying this. Bengals, put the Will Fries in the bag. Put the Will Fries in the bag, brother. Like that. This is where we're at also. Back when Jamar Chase versus Sewell was going on, it was, hey, so I'm trying to cook, I'm like, so like, I'm trying to score. Yeah, and then Joby tore his leg up. Joby had a calf strain. Joby had to, what I'm saying? We got so much craziness going on. There is no world that the Bengals can neglect the guard position, the tackle position, the center position. They have to have above average, good to elite, all through all 5. It's Joe Burrow. And so to me, it would look like guards. It would look like guard play, guard play, guard play. That would be number 1. Number 2, this might suck for Trey, but I do think there are some like defensive end, or like there are some guys that they could probably throw in or mix in this. If Calais Campbell or somebody, which I think they probably wouldn't do, but if somebody like that they signed to, I would love that too. I'm telling you, everybody watched the Eagles up front and said, I want to do that. And if you want to do that, you got to come back with Calais Campbell, Slaton, BJ Hill, McKinley Jackson. You got to come back like that. And if you don't, and you get an injury or two, you're not lit like that. And to me, I think they got the money to do like those, like the smaller ones. I don't know. But put the Will Fries in the bag has got to go. Like the fries in that bag, like the shirt is I've already created it. So if somebody's still in it, like you can watch the show, but it won't say Zim Huda on it. But put the fries in the bags, Bengals. Like to me, if you go look at his injury, it's a break. It's not. There's no ligament damage. There's nothing like that. It'd be like me if me or you, a normal person, broke your leg. You just heal up. It's not like we're sitting there trying to get back from an ACL. I'm not worried about the injury at all. He would be the best guard that Joe Burrow's ever had. And then you go in, supplement it, and put in a guy like Zeitler or something like that. Zeitler, Will Hernandez, Brandon Sheriff, any of those guys. Then I'm going to the draft and I'm looking at guard. No, I want to get Ratledge. I want to go get another guard too. I'm trying to make it so that guys like Cordell Volson, they should never even be on the field with Joey B. And you might say that the Bengals ain't going to do that, but the Bengals owe Joe Burrow that, and the Bengals owe the city that, because this guy needs to be protected at a Tom Brady level. Like, bro, he almost just won an MVP with an average at best offensive line. Can you imagine? Like, you have to protect, bro. You have to protect them. So 2 guards is what I'm looking for. T. Higgins also. You know, we've been talking about safety. There are some really good safeties out there that I think won't be super expensive either. I like the kid Cisco. That's going to be out of our price range. I think.
You think so? Even with like the market for safety,
Bro,
he's been really crazy today, bro.
Hufanga got. Somebody tell me how much Hufanga got. Hufanga got like, I'm sorry, I thought he got like a safety just got like 16, I think.
Safety so just got 16.
Bro, Holland probably get like 20, bro. And to put this into perspective, let me tell y'all how stupid the Bengals are right now.
DeMar Hamlin.
Think about this. Jesse Bates, $14 million. Think about how nasty that is now. You would do anything to go get a $14 million. Like, for one of the best safeties in the league, that's pennies now. So there's that. But I like the guy. I like Andre Cisco, though. I think from the Jags, that's a guy that I think is an upgrade over Geno Stone. Really good safety. I think his market will be right at the price point that I like.
So let me see. Hufanga got a 3-year contract worth up to $45 million, $20 million guaranteed. So I think, like you said, that's 15 million. But so what's your price range for safety? Is like 10 million too much, or you think that's okay? I think Wemby must have got with him back over there. What do you think your price range is for safety? A lot of people talking about Xavier McKinney as another guy.
Xavier McKinney already got signed last year, though.
He did?
Okay. Yeah, he's not. I think he's just saying, like, we could have got Xavier McKinney.
Oh, we could have got him.
Yeah, Andre Cisco, I think he'd be around like 12, something like that. Yeah, that's where I think I'm at. I don't know.
Okay.
That's where I'm. Julian Blackman's another one. He's a good safety I really like too. He's still out there. I think Javon Holland was rated as the #1 free agent with T. Higgins and also Trey Smith. T. Higgins and Trey Smith come off the market. I think Javon Holland's about to go get money. The only reason why Hufanga it probably isn't even more, because remember, Hufanga tore his ACL in 23. He comes back in 24 and doesn't play at the same. But you know how it is when you're coming off of an ACL tear. You got that 1 year where you got to get back right. So I thought that was the reason for that. And then you got to think Hufanga with the Broncos is nasty. So you got Pat Surtain out there taking away a whole side of the field, and then you got Hufanga being able to do whatever you want. So if y'all don't know, Hufanga for the 49ers was able to roam like how Troy Polamalu was. And he's like a missile when he's running around the field. So I want to play like playmaker like that, bro.
Asante Samuel, he's young from the Chargers, free agent out there.
Christian Fulton's back out there too.
Christian Fulton's out there. Like there's some.
Let me ask you this: Would you be in favor? Because Carlton Davis was a guy that was getting attached to our name a little bit. Would you be in favor of the Bengals bringing in a corner at all in free agency?
I'm looking here. Let's see. So best available players right now. Byron Murphy is out there. I don't know much about him.
He didn't get picked up.
They say he is a pro bowler though.
I thought Byron Murphy got picked up.
It says that he's still available on NFL.com as it stands right now. It says that he's feisty. He can play inside and out. Holland is still out there. They got Will Fries, Asante Samuel, Justin Reed, Cam Robinson, Stephon Diggs, Tevin Jenkins. Corners, I'm looking Christian Fulton. Maybe you think about adding Christian Fulton to the room. I mean, he's 27 years old. I think that you take a chance on him, add him to the room, get some get some competition in there. Mekhi Becton's still out there. Joey Bosa's out there. Dante Fowler's out there. Amenahu's out there.
Mike Hilton's still out there.
Mike Hilton is still out there. Justin Simmons is still out there.
You know somebody I would love as a backup instead of Cody Ford, Jedrick Wills is still out there.
Wills is still out there. Young.
Wills is still out there.
You know, I know he's been a tackle. I know the Browns fans hate him. They think he's trash. Some people feel like he's their version of Jonah Williams. I wouldn't mind. Oh, he just literally signed. Byron Murphy just agreed to a 3-year, $66 million contract. Yeah, Bengals weren't paying that, bro.
Oh, hell no. Yeah. Byron Murphy.
He just signed with the Vikings. Okay, Clutch Sports. Okay, that's what's up. That's crazy. That's why we're doing this live, bro. Like,
yeah.
No, it just happened just like that.
I got my list. I got Brandon Scherr, Will Fries, Mekhi Becton, Kevin Zeitler. James Daniels got signed by the Dolphins. Jedrick Wills, I would entertain that. Dalton Risner, Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jedrick Wills for sure. Chauncey Golston, I think is very interesting. I think I also go with Terrell Dodson if they do move on from Jermaine Pratt. That's a guy that I would look at. You also have, let's see who else we got out here.
Bro, I want Chicago Gamble. I'm gonna make you watch the
I'll take Justin Simmons right now.
I know Trent Brown's still out there.
Yeah, Trent Brown. I'm good off of Trent Brown.
You good off Trent?
Minahew is interesting. I don't know, like he was like one of the best players in the Super Bowl.
Can I say Minahew is really good friends with Jamar Chase. Real good friends.
Yeah, they work out, I believe, together. And then Mekhi Becton, Azeez Ojulari. I mean, bro, they still got options out here.
I think we're out of the Ojulari after you bring back Ossai.
You don't think that the Bengals could still get another edge since Ossai just went for $7 million?
Charles Minahew, maybe.
So let me ask you this. If they do get another edge, does that mean that Trey Hendrickson is gone?
I think that this is what I would do. And I told everybody, this is exactly what I would do. Him getting a pay bump, is it affecting them as far as like from a cap standpoint? It's helping them. And also from a annual basis moving forward, it's not hurting them. What they could do is tell the agent, this is real hardball. Like, it's not fun. But you go spend the money that you would have spent on him in an extension, like say they offer him a 2 or 3 year deal.
Andre Cisco just went to the Jets.
Jesus. Okay. But say you would have offered him a 2 to 3 year deal, whatever that was. Say it was 23, 25, like people have been speculating, right? You take that same money and you give it to Ossai and give it to somebody else or whatever and whatever. So then when the agent comes back, they say, all right, we want to get that deal again. And then if you're the Bengals, you're like, nah, like that was then. Yesterday's price is not today. We don't have that money no more. But what we can do is give him enough, give him a $15 million pay raise and give him his 30-something million for 2025. I don't know. Nobody turning down $30-something million to play. If you don't like that, you can retire. Simple as that. Yeah. And now you got Ossai, Ojulari, you got, you know what I'm saying? And you got Trey Hendrickson just for one year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that crazy. And then mind you, when I go to the draft, I'm getting an edge rusher again too. Right. So if I don't do that, then Commanders better send me a first. I'm not taking no third, because if I can make, remember you was telling me how they was talking to you on a thing about Trey? Like making it seem like we were forced to do this. This is what I'm trying to tell Bengals fans. The Bengals are not forced to do anything with Trey Hendrickson. He's under contract.
He's on a contract.
So they're not forced to pay him. They're not forced to extend him. We're not, like a lot of teams get themselves in bad cap. We're not in bad cap. I watch all these people suck off the Bills all day They were negative $28 million in cap when they started off. Why? Because they paid Von Miller at 32 years old a 6-year deal. Did they tell y'all that part where they looked stupid doing that? And then they came into this offseason negative. And then everybody's like, well, they signed Khalil Shakur. Yeah, a 5th-round pick. You damn right I'm going to sign him. Like, those are easy signings. Show me where the Bills signed up Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson. And then also, tell me how much did they get for Stephon Diggs? Like, bro, they didn't even get adequate compensation for him. All this eating up on all these other teams, like, that's why I'm not with that crowd, and they don't like me on when I do that on Twitter. They be like, bro, you're a homer. I'm like, bro, I'm just telling you what I know. Like, the Bills are not nothing to model my team after. They haven't won shit. The Bengals went to a bowl. They didn't. Their quarterback has never beat my quarterback in the playoffs. He's never gone to a bowl. He's never beat Mahomes in the playoffs. He's never done it. So don't tell me about their front office. They ain't did nothing but except pay Von Miller and get themselves in trouble. That's who the Bills are. They ain't did nothing that the Bengals have done. In the last 4 years, what's the most successful team outside of the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC? It is the Cincinnati Bengals. So whatever y'all saying about the front office, I hear you. It's fair. I understand. They aren't the greatest. But these teams that they propping up, they not rock. They can't do nothing with us. I think the Bengals will beat their ass, and that's how I feel.
Yep. This show once again is powered by BETUS. Make sure you check out them for all of your bets. If you're into the NBA, they have bets going on right now. If you're looking at bets for next year, such as MVP, who's going to go where, you can bet that. You can bet on the NFL draft. Just make sure that you check out BETUS. They power this show, so shout out to them for sponsoring the show. And then also, we got to cook with our kids from Midwest Best Barbecue.
G-Funk wings and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. It's the Ace into the Zim, M into the B's. Uno wings, G-Funk wings and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Say what up to Jordan Battle. We be going to battle. Intercepting balls like CTV did on Seattle. Putting 6 up on AZ. Juice gang amazing. Make sure you come get these wings. The Zimby stay blazing. And T game be smooth as ice. Jamal making DBs fold. TV got big levels. And now you already know. It's so pretty for Uno wings. Cam got the new wings. We call them CTBs. Only at MBs. Ace to the Zim. M into the B's.
Got Midwest Best Barbecue, 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure you check in and let them know Ace and Zim sent you. They got a new wing sauce coming. We'll see when that is. We have an announcement coming for when that comes down the pipeline. But if you haven't, go get some of those Grippo wings. Go get some of any of the wings that they have over there. They are amazing. And they are diehard Bengals fans as owners. So make sure you guys stop in there and holler at Midwest Best Barbecue. The Wincinnati podcast is live every Monday, Wednesday, 8 p.m. We may be doing some extra shows just due to the nature of free agency. So we may have emergency lives and stuff like that. With that being the case, you definitely need to make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn your alerts on, because we will go live at any moment when any of those players signs on the dotted line. Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins. You make sure that you got those alerts on so Cincinnati has you guys covered. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We truly appreciate that. That helps grow the podcast. The more likes that we get in here, the better. I would love to hear from you guys. Who is the next free agent that the Bengals will sign? Put that in the comments. Would love to hear who you guys think is going to be the next person to sign with the Cincinnati Bengals. And then we will do probably a drawing or something like that and announce it on the next show. So definitely be sure to hit those comments, leave it down there. We'll see where that goes. But Zim, before we get out of here, was there anything that you wanted to say, bro?
No, like I said, put the fries in the bag, let's just let it all play out, man. I got a pretty good feeling. I think my gut is telling me that the Bengals will maybe like end up at like a B or something like that. I really want them to just slam dunk it on a lot of ops heads. I really do. I really do. I think that they could do it, bro. They could do it. They could do it. Go get 2 guards. Go get T. Add another guy on defense, and let's go to the draft and let's blow this joint. Let's get to the next thing.
Yes, sir, Steve. Let's get to it.